Okay, since we're talking about the color red today, I wanted to read about Clifford, the big red dog.
And he's baby.
But right now he's a baby. Yeah, this is the story of when he was a tiny puppy and when he came to live with Emily Elizabeth.
I never heard of that.
But tell me, what color is Clifford?
Red.
Red. He is red.
He had red.
Clifford, the Small Red Puppy is the title of my book, and Norman Bridwell is the author and the illustrator. So he wrote the words and he did the pictures.
Yeah. Bulls don't like red.
That's right, bulls don't like the color red. We read that in the other book with Clifford. Okay, so the story's going to start out where he's big, but she's going to go back and tell you what it was like when he was a puppy, okay? Hi, I'm Emily Elizabeth, and this is Clifford, my big red dog. Yesterday, my friend Martha said, I got my dog from a fancy pet store. Where did you get your dog? So I told her how I got Clifford. When I was little, I lived in the city, and I didn't have a dog. One day, the man down the hall called us. His dog had puppies, and he wanted to give me one. One puppy was smaller than the rest. The man said, don't take him. He is the runt. He will always be small and sick. But I loved that little puppy, and that little puppy needed me. So he was the littlest one, and the man said he might not, he might be sick, and it'll take him a long time to grow because he's tiny. But Emily Elizabeth decided that's the one that she wanted. I named my puppy, what did she name him? Clifford. He was so tiny that I had to feed him with my baby's doll bottle. So she borrowed the bottle from her baby doll to feed Clifford. And we got the smallest collar we could find, but it was still too big for him. When he began to eat dog food, we had to watch him all the time. He fell into his dog bowl. And he was always getting lost, even in our small apartment. Her daddy's trying to put on his boots, and his boot is saying, arf, arf.
Why?
I don't know. Why do you think his boot is saying arf?
Clifford's in there.
Clifford's in there. Clifford must have fallen in the boot.
Wow.
Daddy said Clifford was just too small. He didn't know if he would make it through the winter, and I was so sad. That night, I told Clifford I wished he would grow to be a big, healthy dog.
Oh.
And I told him that I loved him. And the next morning, he looked a little bigger to me. So there he is when they went to bed. And now he looks a little bigger. He had an easier time eating his dog food. He didn't fall into the bowl. And his collar wasn't too big. In fact, by the time Daddy got home, his collar was too small. Is he getting bigger?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go outside.
By bedtime, Clifford's tiny basket. Is he fitting in the basket? No. So I let him sleep on my pillow again. That was a mistake. What happened?
She fell off.
She fell off the bed.
It's good.
Because of Clifford. Is he still growing?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
The next morning, Mommy thought Clifford looked different. Daddy said, I think he's growing. Oh, he's definitely growing.
Yeah.
I decided to take Clifford for a walk. At the corner, I saw a big dog coming. I knew I should pick Clifford up so that big dog wouldn't scare him. But who's the bigger dog now? Clifford. I shouldn't have worried. Clifford was really growing. We ran home to show Mommy how big he was getting.
Gosh.
But when we got there, he was so big he wouldn't fit through the door.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. We told Clifford he had to sleep in the garden that night. And in the morning, the lady upstairs called us. She was very upset. Why? What's outside her window?
The dog.
Clifford, the big dog is outside her window. I think it scared her. In fact, all of our neighbors were starting to notice him. He is definitely not little anymore, is he?
No.
No. The landlord called the police and they came to see Clifford. They said Clifford would have to go. He was too big to live in the city. But they couldn't get him to fit through the door.
He's too big.
So look what they did. They got a crane. That's a crane right there. And they had to pick him up and put him on a truck.
I can see him.
So we sent him to live with my uncle. My uncle lived in the country. He didn't live in an apartment building in the city. He lived in a house in the country. So Clifford went to live with him.
And the truck, I saw it.
But how do you think Emily feels because he's gone now?
Sad.
Very sad. I was very sad. I miss Clifford.
And Clifford's sad.
Clifford is sad too. He missed me. My uncle wanted my daddy to come work with him in the country, so we moved. We moved out of our apartment in the city and went to live in a house in the country where I could be with Clifford. He is the same size as that house. What in the world would you do if your dog was the same size as your house? I don't know what I would do.
I'll just do a backflip.
Would you do a backflip because your dog was so big?
Yeah.
Clifford was waiting for me and I said, Clifford, stop growing. You are just right. So that's how I got my dog. I said to my friend, tell me again how you got yours. Martha said, oh, never mind. So tell me about Clifford.
He's a baby.
He was a baby in the beginning of the story.
And he was growing.
He was growing.
And then he got this big. Yeah. And then he got this big.
Why do you think he grew so much?
Because he was little.
He was little.
And he ate a lot of food.
He ate a lot of food?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Emily was so worried that her daddy said he didn't know if he would make it through the winter? And so Emily wished that Clifford would grow up big and strong. And then what happened?
He grew.
He started growing bigger. And bigger.
And bigger.
And even bigger. Oh my goodness, until he got to be so big that she even rides him to school, doesn't she?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be fun if you could ride your dog to school?
Yes.
And what color is Clifford?
Red.
Red.